I think we are still waiting for guest and Abu, right? To join from the breakout room.
Yeah, I asked them to close.
Okay, I think everyone's joined now. We can begin.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. I am Toastmaster Amit. Warmly welcome you 808th meeting of South Delhi Toastmaster Club. First, let's start with the Toastmaster International mission. At Toastmaster, we provide sportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, results in greater self-confidence and personal growth. There are few ground rules for the meeting. Please ensure adhere with this rule. Number 1, please take 10 seconds to put your mobile phone on switch off mode or either mute. Number 2, at Toastmaster, we do not speak about sex, politics, and religion. Hence, it is recommended that please do not speak about this topic in an offensive manner. Keep your camera switch on so that we can make meeting more lively, and keep your mic mute, and you have to unmute once you get your chance to speak. Keep a pen and paper handy with yourself to note down the learning from the meeting. With that, I would like to hand over the stage to our enthusiastic, energetic, vibrant leader and president of the club, Toastmaster Nimit Pradhan. Please help me to welcome him.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Amit, for starting the meeting. A very good evening to all members and guests. I welcome you warmly to the 808th meeting of South Delhi Toastmasters Club. For all those who are new, let me tell you, our club has been running successfully, functioning very well for the last 16 plus years. And this is due to the efforts of all members of this club. Before I proceed further, I would like to share my screen and run you through a presentation. So give me 1 second. I hope everyone can see my screen. Just give me 1 second.
Yes, we can see.
Right, perfect. Thank you so much. Right, so let me start with this quote, which says, "Your story is the greatest legacy that you will leave to your friends. It is the longest lasting legacy you will leave to your hearers." Which means that in order to appreciate something or someone, it is important that you learn and know about their legacy. And how do you learn about somebody's legacy? It can only happen when you learn about their story, right? So let me, in the next few slides, take you through some Toastmasters International's journey. Again, a fun question, and please, this is an interactive session. Does anybody know how many logos has Toastmasters so far invented? It has to be real quick. Anybody? Just say it aloud. All right. In that case, let me proceed forward. We have 5 logos of Toastmasters International so far. What you see on the right is the most current logo, and what you see before, the first one on the left is actually the very first one that came in 1920s, and over time and decades, this is what has come. How many of you know of this legendary character from the movie Star Trek? Right? Now, let me say this, that this gentleman as well was a part of the Toastmasters fraternity. And this is what he says, and I quote, "This was something I was particularly inclined to do. The experience helped me in my career because it taught me how to select appropriate material and then deliver it in front of an audience." This is not me saying, this is him saying, Spock. Again, for all those who watch Hollywood movies, and you must be knowing Tim Allen, actor and comedian who was again a member of the Toastmasters fraternity. Not just restricted to Hollywood, my friends, look at all these names. All dignitaries from the government of multiple countries. When you look at from the top, former Speaker of the US, actor and comedian, American delegates, And you further go down, New Zealand government, all of these celebrities right from NBA have been part of the Toastmaster International fraternity. James Lovell, former US astronaut, former president, assistant secretary of the US Navy, US senator, these have all started their journeys with Toastmasters. So now that you know Toastmasters can really change people's lives, let me ask you some questions. Does anybody know how many countries is Toastmasters in? How many members does Toastmaster have? Or how many clubs are there in Toastmasters? Anybody wants to throw a wild guess? Random number?
5 lakh members. 5.
Correct, sir. Correct. That is close enough, but yes, I give it to you. So Toastmasters has close to 3 lakh members. It's there in 149 countries, and there are close to 15,800 plus clubs. We are a gigantic non-profit organization and one of the only organizations on such a massive scale that focuses on public speaking and leadership skills. So we should all really be proud of being a part of today's meeting and to be part of Toastmaster fraternity. Let me take you a little bit on the history of Toastmasters. What you see here is actually one of the first issue of Toastmaster magazine. The very first issue that came in 1933. And for those who have seen the latest editions, you would see the stark contrasting difference. What you see here right now is actually the very first request for starting a Toastmasters club at Santa Ana at YMCA. And the request says, YMCA, give me 1 second. Right. So if you read this, YMCA members in Santa Ana who are interested in public speaking have been asked to meet at the local association building at 6:30 p.m. Tuesday. I am just trying to read this so that you understand the history and the importance of this club. This was said right in 1924 at the Santa Ana Register. Having said that, there is actually a term, let me just take this away. There's actually a term, glossophobia, which says the fear of public speaking. And today's meeting is all going to be about it. How do you get rid of the fear of public speaking? So please, all members and people who are here for the first time, guests, participate. You have to participate. The only way you can get rid of this fear is by participation. Now it is time that I introduce the anchor for today's meeting. Now the anchor for today's meeting is not a common man. He is not. And I will ask, let me pose some questions to each one of you and guess who it is. Now the anchor for today's meeting is a dear friend of mine. I don't call everybody a friend, but he's somebody whom I've been associated with in the last 2-3 years at Toastmasters. And I can definitely say I and the whole club shares a bond. Any guesses? All right, don't guess right now. I have one more question. All right. So this gentleman leads by example. He has been part of the executive committee and he has done exemplary work by leading from the front. He has taken up positions and helped the club in bad times. Don't yet answer even if you know the name, because I have one more question. This is the most important part of him because I adore him and I look up to him for his commendable oratory skills. When he speaks, he displays passion, emotions, and he uses his script. He builds his script very logically and very intelligently. So when he's speaking on stage, all of us should actually be listening with our ears wide open. Any guesses so far? All right, if you still haven't guessed, last hint, he may look like Vin Diesel. All right. He is none other than our friend, very talented, versatile Toastmaster SAMIR. Toastmaster SAMIR, I welcome you on stage to take the meeting forward.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Nimit. That was, in fact, one of the most innovative introductions that I've seen in a while. Thank you so much. Well, as you know, the theme for today is, what are your pronouns? Interesting, simple, straightforward question. What are your pronouns? But you may ask, why now? Or why is it getting so much importance right now? Why not before this? But before I dive into that, I want to wholeheartedly thank Toastmaster Amit for being such a sport in helping me out with this. Her oratory skills are commendable, and the way she's taken up her responsibility in the EC is mind-blowing. Did I use the wrong pronouns? Yes, I did. When I did that for the first time, Toastmaster Amit would have more likely than not said, okay, maybe a mistake. The second time when I did that, I would have offended Toastmaster Amit. And the third time when I did that, it would have made him upset. Now, imagine, if you will, what if you are addressed by a wrong pronoun throughout your life and you have to explain this every single time to every single person that you meet? How would it feel? Well, the problem with us is we think that gender in general is binary in nature. That means on one side of the spectrum, we have a man or a boy, and on the other end, we have a woman or a female. But what we forget is between these two extremes, there are a whole lot of permutation and combinations that can happen. And to them, we refer to as non-binary. Just to be clear, there is a lot more beyond non-binary as well. But given our time, we will restrict ourselves to non-binary for today. Now, non-binary is also inclusive of the LGBTQ community. And why is it so important for them that we use the right pronouns? Because that is how they address themselves. As I did with Toastmaster Amit, he would be offended, and so would be our non-binary friends. But then how do our non-binary friends want us to address them? They do not want us to address them with he or her. They want to be addressed as they and them. Just to quote an example, if you were to say to a female, she is a good writer, she's written a really nice book herself. Now, if this was for a non-binary friend of mine, it would be, they are a really good writer. They have written a really good book themselves. Now, don't confuse this with the plural forms that we normally use. But our non-binary friends generally have accepted they and them as their pronouns. And that is what we will want to stick to provide them that respect that they deserve and not make them fall into a bucket which they are not in. Well, then we will also learn how do we navigate conversation with our non-binary friends throughout this meeting. But before that, let me also explain what the flow of today's meeting is. It is divided into 3 parts: prepared speeches, followed by table topics, and finally by the evaluations. And now what I'll do is I'll hand it over to the general evaluator for today's meeting to take us through his set of role players. Please welcome on virtual stage Toastmaster Aditya. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Samir, and taking us through a very interesting topic. So, good evening, SDTM universe. I am the general evaluator of tonight's meeting, and my role is to keep an eye on the entire meeting and give a succinct and crunchy feedback. And I will be assisted by my team of evaluators. I have timer, R counter, grammarian, and listener. So let me call all the supplementary evaluators or the auxiliary evaluators one by one. Let's start with the timer Toastmaster Cheryl, who will take us and give us details about what all the timings are for the meeting with respect to speakers and different sections. So can we have Toastmaster Cheryl on the stage?
Thank you, Toastmaster Aditya. So, hi everyone and fellow Toastmasters and guests. I'll be the timer for the day, and I'll be timing everyone for the meeting. And I'll just brief you about what all timings will be there. So, in the for the speakers have 5 to 7 minutes to for the speeches, and there's the TTM, and there are 2 speakers today, and then there'll be the table topic section, which will be of 20 minutes, and each of whoever is participating, they will get 1 to 2 minutes time to speak on any topic. And In the third section, there is the evaluation, which is the evaluation section, and the evaluators will be speaking for 2 to 3 minutes and evaluating the speakers. And also I'll be timing the TMOD at the starting of the meeting, which I've already taken down, and also the auxiliary role player and the GE for their role for the day. So that's from my end. Over to you, Toastmaster Aditya.
Thank you, Toastmaster Cheryl. My second supplementary evaluator is someone who is making the debut in terms of a role in Toastmasters, and that is Toastmaster Bharat, who will be playing the role of listener and will now explain what all entails the role of the listener. So over to Toastmaster Bharat.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Aditya. Hello, fellow Toastmasters and honored guests. I'll be playing the role of listener today. Being a good listener is just as important as being a good speaker. As the listener, I will note down interesting tidbits of the information from any of the speakers and ask questions near the end of the meeting to see if everyone was paying attention. Back to you, Toastmaster Aditya.
Thank you, Toastmaster Bharat. My third supplementary evaluator is someone who already started with a bang last week in the role of a listener, who will continue the role of a supplementary evaluator, this time taking the role of an R counter, and that is Toastmaster Varsha. So let's have Toastmaster Varsha on the stage to explain what all is the R counter.
Hello, everybody. It's great to see you all again today, my fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. In today's meeting, I'll be playing the role of an R counter. Personally, when I visited, actually, I was very excited to play this role because it was a very important role that drew me towards Toastmasters. When I first visited Delhi, the meeting, my first Toastmasters meeting, I was very shocked and surprised when the roles were being introduced, and I found out that there is a role of an R counter. You know, I was drawn towards the attention to detail that was given during the feedback. So today for my role, I will try my level best to give everybody a personalized feedback. So now for an explanation of what I'll be doing, I'll be noting down filler words and crutch sounds. For example, filler sounds can be, there will be a lot of people use crutch sounds such as and, so, now, right. And also I'll be noting down long pauses taken by any member. Basically anything that sort of breaks the flow of a speech, I will be noting down. And by the end, I will be presenting a detailed report on everybody's favorite filler words and filler sounds so that you can work to eliminate them. When I was looking up on how to eliminate these filler words, a great tip that came was, rather than using filler sounds, we should practice using pauses. Pauses can be intimidating, but even then, it's a good idea to replace your filler word with the pause. That is all for my introduction of the role. Over to you, G.
Thank you, Toastmaster Varsha. And my final evaluator is someone who has been there, done this over the past decade and a half, and who knows what the role is, with his hands tied, one hand tied behind his back. So let us introduce Toastmaster Rajiv, who will take up the role of the grammarian and the language evaluator, and let's have him on the stage to explain what all does the grammarian do.
Hello, good evening, everybody. My role as a grammarian today is to note down all the good use of words and bad use of words. And also I'll note down the word of the day, that is serene, and the idiom of the day, that is once in a blue moon. The example for the word of the day is serene is, look at Mother Teresa when she was dying. There was a serene look on her face. And the use of the idiom of the day is once in a blue moon. The thing that happens once in many times. There is a very rare occasion. Today, that is the idiom of the day. So that I'll note down and all these things and report at the end of the meeting. That's over to Toastmasters, over to General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Raji, for that introduction of the for the grammarian and the language evaluator role. And now, let me get the stage back to our serene TMOD Toastmaster Samir, who has come up with a topic which comes up once in a blue moon. So let's hand over the stage to our TMOD Toastmaster Samir.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Aditya. That was indeed clever, I have to agree. Well, what better way to start the meeting than with a fine tickle of your bones? So for that, let me call on stage the joke master for today. That would be Toastmaster Megha. Toastmaster Megha, please help us with our laughter dose today. Over to you.
Thank you, TMOD, Toastmaster Samir. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and their guests. Those of you who were there in the last meeting can recall that I was joke master last Saturday as well, and I was terrible at it. So here I am again to make one more attempt with a hope to make all of you laugh at least this time. And if I fail again, be ready to see me as joke master next Saturday also. And with this, here I open my basket of jokes. The first one. Husband says, "Call an ambulance, fast, I'm having heart attack." Wife takes his mobile quickly and says, "Tell me your password quickly." And husband is like, it's okay, I'm feeling better now." One more. I read this definition of honeymoon somewhere. So honeymoon is a man's last holiday before he starts working for a new boss. That's all I have for you today. Thank you, and over to you, Toastmaster Samir.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Megha, for that wonderful joke. Well, before we start with the prepared speeches, what you see behind me is the first caveat that I want all of you to be aware of while we are in conversation with our non-binary friends, and that is excessive use of the word sorry. So many a times what happens is when you're talking to a non-binary person and maybe perhaps you've used the wrong gender or the wrong pronouns, just say sorry once, understand the mistake, and move ahead. Many a times what we tend to do is we tend to apologize a lot, and that in fact is counterproductive, because what it does is it creates too much unnecessary attention for our non-binary friends, and they would just want us to accept that, okay, that was a mistake, and just move ahead and not repeat that in future. That is it. So the first tip, do not over apologize if you've made the mistake of using the wrong pronoun. And with that, now let's welcome the very first speaker for today's meeting. And that would be Toastmaster Pandey. But before I call Toastmaster Pandey onto stage, I would really want to know what the objectives of his speech are. I'm always intrigued by the way he delivers his speech. And for that, I'll welcome Toastmaster Utkarsh onto the stage to let us know what the speech objectives are. Over to you, Toastmaster Utkarsh.
Thank you, Toastmaster Samir. You're doing a wonderful job on a very interesting topic. I'll be evaluating the speech of Toastmaster IC Pandey. He is delivering his Pathways Presentation Mastery Level 1, Project 2. The purpose of his speech is, the project is for the member to learn or review basic research methods and present a well-organized, well-researched speech on any topic. All the best to Toastmaster Pandey. Back to you, Toastmaster Samir.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Utkarsh. And without any further delay, please welcome Toastmaster Pandey to deliver his speech. Toastmaster Pandey, the power of trust. The power of trust. Toastmaster Pandey, over to you.
Toastmaster Pandey, you are mute. Unmute yourself.
Henry David Thoreau, the American naturalist, said that for every 1,000 people hacking at the leaf of the evil, someone is striking at the roots. For every individual, there is something is common. For every individual, for every nation, every culture, every civilization throughout the world, that one thing is trust. Trust impacts us 24/7 and 365 days in a year. It alters every relationship, every business venture, every event that we are engaged. It changes the present moment of our life and trajectory and outcome of the future event of our lives, both personally and professionally. Trust is pragmatic, tangible, actionable asset. We can change much faster than we probably think upon. Nothing is so fast as the speed of trust, and nothing is more relevant as the pervasive impact of trust. Ask one question. So what is trust? Can anybody unmute and tell what is trust?
It's when you can completely be yourself with somebody. So that means you trust that person.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much.
I also want to add, I think it means believing in someone without any restriction.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you so much. The belief in yourself, and there is something you are fully trusting somebody. So trust is the mainly combination of two things. It comes from the character and the competency. The character describes your integrity, your intention, your motive about other people's. The competency, it describes your capability, your result, and your track record. By these two combinations, it starts with the trust. Now, for a moment, each and everybody can think to whom you trust most in your life. In a few seconds, think to whom you trust more in your life, the number one person.
Close family and friends.
Our parents.
Maybe friends.
My parents and sister.
Yes, parents will. Perhaps it may be your friends, your parents, your siblings, your boss, your spouse, or many. You trust. Why we trust that particular person, but the rest of the others we are not trusting? It means our relationship, our communication for getting done the job, it's much better than compared to others. That's why we trust on some people. So now the trust is nowadays becoming a career conscious and career critical than ever before. Your financial success depends upon your workplace success. Now let me share my experience in my life, how trust helped me to elevate my life. So after completing my graduation, I was finding it difficult to find a job. Then I went to a city called Coimbatore. It is an industrial city in Tamil Nadu. So I used to take a bus from Madurai to Coimbatore in the night, and I reached Coimbatore in the morning. Throughout the day, I keep on going to visiting different industries. I asked them, give me a job. I did mechanical engineering. I'm from Madurai. So I am a hard worker. So I will be loyal to you, and asking every time in every company. I was kept on doing 4 days, more than 4 days. And I went there, and till the evening I searched, then I came back to my home. After 3-4 days, I went there. It was going 4-5 times. Then the 6th time, I was standing in front of the company. One man came, then I asked them, I narrated the story. Brother, this is happening to my 5 days. I am just coming and going to Coimbatore from Madurai. I was not able to get a job. So what is the reason why they are not offering me a job? Then he smiled like this for a moment. Then he said, see, getting a job here from outside district, it's difficult because they won't trust the people. Because the process they came from outside, when they do some unwanted things and they leave without informing them, that is why they won't trust you. So they won't give you a job. I thought a moment, I was thinking that, so what to do now? How to impress? How to make a trust on them? Then I was waiting that. Once the company owner came, I suddenly entered the room and I gave my original certificate to him, and I started telling about my introductions. Then after that, he gave me the job, and I worked there for 2.5 years. Then I got the job, worked hard 2.5 years, but the 2.5 years I worked just like more than 7 to 7.5 years of experience. So it elevated my life to reach at a different stage. So the power of trust is phenomenal. When we can start trusting, it starts with our self-trust. Self-trust depending upon how confident we are, how we are believing ourselves, how we are setting goals, and we are achieving the target. The credibility is important in self-trust. Then we are comparing to relationship trust. Here, the behavior, the consistent behavior is important in behavior trust. When we are going organization, the alignment trust, that we have to align our goals in line with the organization goal, so it will help us to grow. So we have to create our trust in all aspects. And then not only we can create, but also we can restore. If some trust, the mistrust happen with somebody, we can restore it that. So there is a Chinese proverb for planting it. For the best time to plant a tree is 25 years back. The second best time is right now. So ladies and gentlemen, we can create trust and we can restore trust. By doing this, our life will be more prosperous. We can grow much better and can achieve many success. And thank you. Over to you, TMOD.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Pandey. That was indeed a wonderful speech. Everyone, please take the time to provide feedback to Toastmaster Pandey. This is how he'll grow, and probably his trajectory in Toastmasters would be a lot more fruitful if you provide your inputs. And meanwhile, the second input that I have for my friends here today that they can keep or they can make use of while we're trying to help our non-binary friends or friends who associate with the LGBTQ community is using the pronouns in signatures itself. And this is something that of late we've seen a lot of bigger corporates taking up. So what we can do is in our signatures itself, we can express what our pronouns are. In this case, if you see here, J has the pronouns already associated with they and them. Similarly, I can do it for myself and everyone else can do. So that helps in two ways. One, it creates awareness because then there is inquisitiveness to know what it is and how can we use this. The second, it helps our non-binary friends come out of the shell because then they know that, okay, this is being addressed and I can or someone else can put the pronouns on the signature, and that way it becomes a lot more easier for them to get out of that shell. With that, now we will move on to the second speaker. And the second speaker for today is Toastmaster Abu. But before I call Toastmaster Abu, I would like his evaluator, Toastmaster Arushi, to please read out the speech objectives and let us know what is it that Toastmaster Abu will thrill us today with. Over to you, Toastmaster Arushi.
Thank you, Toastmaster Samir. Indeed, such a great topic to introduce to today's meeting. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful is all I have to say. Now, moving on to the speech objectives. So when you are given the job of evaluating somebody you admire and one of the best speakers of the club, you're actually very intrigued. You're also proud that you get the chance to do that. So with that, I'm going to tell everybody the purpose of Toastmaster Abu's speech today. So he's doing a new pathway, and the purpose of his speech is to introduce himself to the club and learn the basic structure of a public speech. And he is this is project 1, his speech. I am sorry, but I've missed the pathway. Is it engaging humor? Abu,
yes, Arushi. Yes, that is correct.
Right. So now I'm really looking forward to how Toastmaster Abu approaches humorous speech. So all the very best, and I really look forward to your speech. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Arushi. I have no words. I am just waiting to hear what it is, and more so I know that this is humorous. So please welcome Toastmaster Abu with his speech. Toastmaster Abu, I seldom think Toastmaster Abu. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Samir. I completely echo what Arushi has mentioned, and especially that background and all that hard work that you have incorporated. It's such a treat to listen to you. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Samir. Now, it would be very kind if you can switch on your videos, because that is a very good motivational and a boost. Let me start with a very beautiful Urdu poetry that says, "Kisi ko ghar se nikalte hi mil gayi manzil. Kisi ko ghar se nikalte hi mil gayi manzil. Koi meri tarah puri umr safar mein raha." If I have to translate, somebody got their destination right when they stepped out of house, but a person like me is in the journey of life forever. My name is Abu Shadab, and for most of you, Abu is my surname. My name is Shadab. And Shadab is an Urdu word which means somebody who is extremely optimistic, evergreen, and happy. So that was the name that was given to me. And I'm very happy to be given this particular name, because I feel that I'm very happy. And to be happy when things are not good is at times a little crazy, because people would wonder what's wrong with you. Okay, and especially when you say that, yes, another interest of yours is psychology. So again, people would wonder that, psychology, he's smiling, is everything okay with the person? So I started my life. I'm from Darjeeling. And I remember in class 5, I went to a new school. And when I went to that particular school, I got an opportunity to represent my school. It was for Maggie quiz contest. Our school was a fairly new school, and we were participating in Maggie quiz contest. And there were 33 top schools. For most of the people, when you talk about, Main Hoon Na movie, which has been shot in, I'm sure most of you know Main Hoon Na movie, is from St. Paul's, and Darjeeling schools are considered to be one of the best in Asia. So you can understand the level of competitions. So nobody was expecting us to even come in the ranks, but to surprise everyone, including us, we won the quiz contest. And that was like the most amazing thing. And to add cherry on the cake, the principal at that point in time, he rewarded us by saying that, and this is a dream come true for any student, in the canteen for 3 days, eat whatever you want. It's on the house. Now, if you are a student, you know how does this feel. And everybody wanted to be friends with me because I could take anyone and eat unlimited. So that was an amazing feeling. Apart from academics, I love sports. And because I always loved playing, and as Darjeeling, there's always raining. So you can understand me playing everywhere, ground. And my clothes were extremely dirty most of the time. On the other hand, I have my elder brother. His name is also Abu Danish. And it's very surprising because everybody calls both of us as Abu. So I remember one of his classmates, she saw my name, Abu Shadab. She said, "Abu Shadab, are you by any chance related to Abu Danish. Now, let me tell you Abu Danish. And Abu Danish, she says, I said, yeah, I am his brother. And he says, are you sure you are his brother? Like, she's doubting my capacity. I said, yes, I am. Look at that, smart, handsome, tall. You are his brother. Are you sure? I was very embarrassed, and to avoid further embarrassment, I said, okay, bye-bye. So apart from my schooling has been amazing. I always wanted to pursue sports. That's one of the things that I wanted to do. Life became much more amazing 15 years ago when I came to Delhi. But when I came to Delhi, I realized people in Delhi, they are smart, they are knowledgeable, and they are super confident. They are confident when they are wrong. So you can't even imagine their confidence when they are right. Would you agree to it? And I thought to myself, I can't compete with people in Delhi. I think I have to go back to Darjeeling. I thought that right at the beginning. And this is another part, my friends used to at times, they used to talk about me stating that, how long do you think Abu can work? And I was very new and they used to say, I think he can survive 6 months. And then one person said 3 months. And finally, one person told that, it all depends if he can clear the training. So I think not even a month's time. And I was very disheartened. That's a very bad thing to say to someone. But again, it's very important that you need to have this criticism. I always used to wonder what makes these people so confident. And I asked this one guy who was super confident, what gives you so much of confidence? And he takes me to the terrace. We used to have the terrace in a Gurgaon office. And at that point in time, you understand 15 years ago, call centers were mushrooming all across Gurgaon. So, we were there in our building and he showed, can you see that building? And we had American Express, Dell, Hewitt. And he said that, tomorrow I can get job anywhere. I was like, wow, that's like super cool. That's the spirit. But then I realized you might not be knowledgeable, you might not be confident, you might not be smartest. But if you show up every day for whatever you are doing, in a moment of time, you will also learn a lot of things. Okay. Now, this is to do with what I do. I love my job and I am a psychologist, or rather, I would call myself HR, learning and professional. That's what I love to do. Now, let's look at my future. My future, if I get that particular power to predict my future, I would love to live the Ikigai style. Now, Ikigai, I'm sure we know that there is this place, Osakawa, in Japan, which has the highest centurions and super centurions. And there are reasons why these people, they live a long. One of the reasons is they do not retire. This concept of retirement is from West. They believe that after a certain point, you need rest. But as per them, if you rest, that's not the way. So one of the things that I would love to do is never, ever retire. I would like to continue to work. And the second thing is, I would always like to move, because that's another secret. The more you move, the better your life becomes. So even at the age of 65, 70, 75, what I would love to do is wake up early before the sun and hit the gym. And that's one of the things that I would like to do. In the end, I would like to end with a wonderful quote that I came across, and it was, men are haunted by the vastness of eternity. Men are haunted by the vastness of eternity. So we ask ourselves, long after we are gone, will strangers hear our names and wonder who we were, how bravely we fought, and how fiercely we loved? So that was my introduction. Over to the marvelous TMOD SAMIR Rawat.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Abu, for that wonderful, wonderful speech. Everyone, please take time to provide feedback to Toastmaster Abu in your personal chat or even in groups if you want to provide. Please to provide feedbacks to Toastmaster Abu. He never ends his learning journey. I know him since the last 2 years and he's always sought feedback and works on it. Please go ahead and provide your feedback. And meanwhile, I'll want to request the timer to see if there was any disqualification. Could you please help me with that?
Hi, Toastmaster Samir. Abu and Toastmaster Pandey both exceeded the time. So So it's like we should nominate both the speakers for judgment. Let's not do that today.
Okay, and I completely agree with the timer's judgment here. So, Tech Master, could you please roll out the votes for the best speaker? Okay, everyone, please take the time to vote for the best speaker. Okay, all right. With that, now let's move on to the next tip that I have for all of my friends here is the problem that a lot of our non-binary friends face is for us that is so usual, but for them it becomes so much of a task at times is using as simple as using the restroom, because the restrooms in a vast majority of the world are split between two genders, and hence they find it extremely difficult to associate with one of the genders. Hence what we can do is, as and when we have an opportunity to bring forth our voice, please let whosoever is in charge, if you have a voice, please let them know that a gender neutral washroom goes an extremely long way in helping our non-binary friends. So wherever, whenever possible, if you can voice your opinion for a gender neutral washroom, please go ahead and propagate this idea. With that, what I'll do is now is the most intriguing part of the meeting, that is the table topics. And for that, I'll now hand it over to Toastmaster Shaman. Toastmaster Shaman, please go ahead and dazzle us with all those topics. I know you have extremely intriguing topics today with yourself. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Toastmaster Samir, for that lovely introduction. Hello, everyone. Good evening, dear guests and participants and team members. So as Toastmaster Samir mentioned, this is the most exciting section of the meeting, and I really enjoy this section and really get to hear interesting point of views from different team members and guests. So I would I would ask all of you to nominate yourself in the chat box and get on with the interesting topics. I have a lot of topics for today. We have some more time, interestingly, and I have a really interesting topic, so you guys are going to enjoy a lot. So the impromptu section will be giving each member or each participant 1 to 2 minutes to speak on the topic. Won't take too much time. Let's get right into it. And please nominate yourselves. And also another thing, which I forgot to mention, are two extremely talented team members from SDTM are representing our club in the area level for table topic contest tomorrow, if I'm not wrong. So both the participants are Toastmaster Abu and Toastmaster Arushi. All the best to you. I'll give you some practice topics so that you can practice today itself and make the best of it. So let's see who all are there. Guest Ashish. Okay. I have Jatin, Ashish, Abu and Arushi. Okay, let's just start with the, I'll just share my screen. Sorry. Sorry, my bad. Let me just take who was the first one. Sorry, my bad. It's Jatin, right? Jatin, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, let's spin the wheel again. I'm so sorry.
So your topic is movie or series. You could weave a story or pick one which you like. Up to you. So over to you, Jatin.
Okay. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Charmaine. Clearly, all of us have a favorite series, and I can't seem to decide on one. I would probably like to talk about this series called Boston Legal. Have any of you heard about it? Oh, Aditya has. So maybe he could be my flamingo. So this is a story about Boston, and they talk about a law firm. And in the law firm, there are two lawyers who do anything to get their cases, to win their cases. And at the end of, but the best part about the show for me was when at the end of the day, after they have cheated and scammed and manipulated the jury into giving a verdict in their favor, at the end of the evening, they sit by themselves. They sit by themselves, glorifying in their wealth on their 40th floor balcony. And they sit there sharing a drink and discussing topics that are very close to them from the bottom of their hearts. As a single person during engineering college, when I used to watch the story, I always imagined that maybe someday I'll have a friend like that or a partner. So that was one thing I liked very much, given that these are two extremely talented individuals who are able to open up themselves to someone. Another series I really liked is It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Has anybody heard of that? Only Aditya. So yes, my flamingo. It appears that I'm known to it seems like I like very obscure TV series. Only me and Aditya seem to know the stories that I'm talking about right now. So It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia is a series about 5 sociopathic people, and they run a pub in Philadelphia, and they have a certain approach to life, and the character development in the series is wonderful. You always expect people to behave in a certain way, and they do, and it is still very entertaining. So I like the series because people are very free of the rules of society, and they do as they feel, as they wish. For instance, once from green directly to red. That was my time. Back to table topics, master.
Thank you, Toastmaster. Jatin, thank you so much. I think so you've given me some new series to watch. Definitely going to watch some. So the next person is Toastmaster Ashish. Ashish, are you there?
Yes, I am. Am I audible enough?
Yes. Shall I spin the wheel?
Sure.
So your topic is, as you can see, emotion. Over to you.
I was slapped. I cried. Mega joke. I laughed. And many other happy moments. Why do we do these things? Is it because our brain is hardware for this? Or is this gifted to us? I really have no idea. I just, whenever something is presented in front of me, I just react. Either when I'm speaking, I start to stutter, or I try to breathe in between. But these are the emotions that I face, and I'm sure at some point, and most other, like crying and anger, you all have felt. but there are some emotions like we don't know about, because I remember it from that Toastmasters itself have said that we think that there are a lot of emotions, but there are only, I guess, 6 or 7 pure emotions. I guess he was in theater, so he said that. I barely remember it. And it was said to me that on that day I was sitting in library and that person was giving his master class, and he asked me what is wonderment. I could not speak because I was sitting in library. So he gave the example on me that I wonder why you are not speaking. So I later got it that the wonder emotion was implied on me. So this is back to table topics, Sharmeen.
Thank you, guest Ashish. It didn't seem like your first time. I think so. Both the speakers did quite well. You guys are rocking, actually. So the next person, I won't take much time. The next person is Toastmaster Abu. Are you there?
Yes, Shaman.
Can I choose a difficult one for you instead
Yeah,
of spinning
please be my guest.
Just trying to make something interesting. I'll give you cold and hot. Cold or hot? Over to you, Toastmaster Abu.
Thank you so much. Wow. Let's see, where does this topic leads us to? Cold or hot? Hot reminds me of summers and cold reminds me of winter. And if I have to ask you people, which is the place in India that has extremes of temperature, which place would you call it out?
North for cold, south for hot.
But one place that is master of extremes.
Abu, Rajasthan versus Leh.
Rajasthan versus Leh. Okay, we'll decrease the intensity. Let's come to our Delhi. Delhi is known for its extremities. And cold also reminds me of winter. And winter, what a lovely, lovely time. And in winter, you would love to sip hot coffee or a hot cup of tea. Or if you are a person like me who has fallen in love with chicken, you would love to go ahead and taste some lovely chicken soup as well. Isn't that an awesome thing? Okay, now let's come to summers. The first thing that comes to my mind when it comes to summer is the water and the beach. It would be so lovely to go for that endless swim. But if I have to think from a psychologist or a very philosophical definition, what is hot and cold? It would also mean different emotions that we experience as human beings. I recently read something and it was very important. Generally, people, when they experience, I would compare cold with being unhappy and hot with being happy. I'm just trying my own abbreviation. And people, when they look at you and if they see you not happy, what they would love to go ahead and make you is happy. But as per Ikigai, the same book, they would not turn your unhappiness to happiness. What they would really want you to do is, you are unhappy because of a certain action, be there, work on yourself, and when you do something that makes you happy, it becomes happiness. One major problem that we face in today's time, and if I have to talk about mental health, is whenever we see somebody unhappy, we tell them, don't be unhappy. Don't be sad. You shouldn't. That's bad. Let people be sad. Because if you people don't experience that sadness, how will they understand the power of happiness? It also reminds me of something which is called day and night. We are also a result of a lot of extremities. The problem happens when we choose only one extreme. So if you want to enjoy life, let's be right at the middle. Let's be in between and let's enjoy the hot and cold, the summer, the winter, the day, the night, the happy, the sad. Over to you, Table Topic Master.
Thank you, Toastmaster Abu. That was beautiful. You start off with the cold and hot, and you ended beautifully. I mean, I really loved the analogies, and of course, I can totally relate to that Delhi analogy again. not a thing that I think so. You mentioned was wrong. Thank you so much. So I'll move on to Toastmaster Arusha. You ready?
Yes, Shaman.
Shall I spin the wheel? Or shall I give you a difficult one? I'll spin the wheel for you.
No, go ahead.
Okay. I'll give you something then. Let's do fast and slow for you. Your topic is fast or slow. Sorry. Over to you.
Thank you, Table Topic Master. Fast or slow? And I would like to ask the Table Topic Master, why do I have to choose when I can go for both? That's the best part about having a steering wheel of my own life in my own hands. Whenever I want to go fast, I shall do so, which was what I did for the last 9 years. Constantly on the go. Get up, study, work out, breakfast, then go to office, then go out, sleep, eat, repeat. This was my fast-paced life for the last 9 years. And then when I had enough, I decided to put a break and now make the pace slow. Now, in this slow-paced last 9 months, I have been able to enjoy so much. I took my time to eat my breakfast in peace. I made sure that I am not thinking about what meeting I have to attend first thing in the morning while I was working out. And then I had the time to self-develop myself, something which I miss doing. And thanks to this break, I became part of such a beautiful community in the form of Toastmasters. Now, right from where I began, when life gives you a choice, take the road less traveled and try and negotiate the best possible outcome from it. So take the fast road when required, but also be aware that there is a slow road, a diversion that you can always take. So be aware and choose your own path. That's all. Back to you, Table Topic Master.
Thank you, Toastmaster Arushi. Oh my God. I mean, it seems like it is already a competition today. It seems like a table topic contest. You guys are too much prepared. I think so I'll make it difficult. I'll choose the words for you guys. Who is next now? It's Toastmaster Pandi. Are you there?
Yeah, yes.
I'll spin the wheel for you.
Yeah.
So Toastmaster Pandi, your topic is first or last? First or last, Toastmaster Pandi. Over to you.
Thank you. First or last. The first impression is the last impression. So wherever we go, whatever you do, just we present ourselves the first to make it the thing very easy to understand, to demonstrate to others and ourselves. We understand the things first, then we keep on doing repeatedly to improve the things again and again, so that when we end up at different stages, that the first thing always add value to that, to keep on moving ahead for the different stages of our life, whatever the goal we set, whether it may be professional, personal, or physical, or whatever we set. So thinking, analyzing that, you have to think that what is in your hand and what is the requirement, what is the gap. The first, you have to prepare a roadmap, charting that, keeping in mind lost, where I am going to reach. There's a chronological event. We can have a step by step to reach that. So if you keep on moving that, then you can construct your life in a better way, so that you can elevate to the whatever you thought in the first step, you will reach up to the first step, you will reach in the last step. Thank you, and over to you, Toastmaster.
Wow, Toastmaster Pandi, thank you so much. You guys seem like so much prepared. I'm feeling weird now, like what to share. But thank you so much. I mean, who's next? It's Toastmaster Amit, right?
Yes.
You guys have so much content to share. Let's spin the wheel. Let's find something difficult for Toastmaster Amit. Toastmaster Amit, your topic is blue or pink? Blue or pink? Toastmaster Amit, over to you.
So thank you, Toastmaster Shamin, for sharing this topic, color analogy, blue or pink. So if I assume about the color blue, then blue is the color of depthness, the ocean, the sky, everything blue. And one of my favorite color, blue, because I love blue. And if I say about the pink, color of the means ladies like this color most, pink color. You can say that means that my experience, but it varies person to person. So that is the analogy about the blue and pink, but that is the two color. But there are all colors that make our life more colorful by applying these color and these colors in our life, so that we can make our life more beautiful, more colorful, and live it with the fullest. So color is the most precious thing that I believe we got from the nature, from this.
Sorry.
So that is the color analogy I am saying that. So the colors make our life more beautiful, and we love all that. So thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster Sharmin.
Thank you, Toastmaster Amit. Thank you for your POV on blue and pink. But just interesting topic. I don't know. I was seeing some video on YouTube, and it just said like a few years back. I mean, now I'm sitting in 21st century. I don't know which century it was. So before, pink used to be used for males, and the more feminine color was baby blue or blue, however you say. So you know how time changes and how it's accepted culturally now, and feminine color, pink is more feminine now. So you know how time changes. So it's really interesting to see people's POV. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Amit. So the next speaker is Toastmaster Cheryl. Are you there?
Yes.
Let's spin the wheel for you. So your topic is festival. Toastmaster Cheryl, over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shaman, for a wonderful topic. Festival. Festival is something which gives me happiness and joy and lights. Obviously, it's full of lights, and also meeting neighbors and friends and making a bond with them each time. It is a new bond which is created in festivals, and a different experience, obviously. And what more about festival? We get to eat a lot of things, sweets, and also to see other cultures as well, how people celebrate a particular festival in a different way. So that is very interesting for me to see people celebrating it in their own way, making impressions out of it, and also sharing it with the people which who don't know how to celebrate festivals. For me, some festivals, I see it is quite mesmerizing for me, and I keep asking what happens next, what happens next. So getting knowledge about a particular festival or a culture is really interesting, and enjoying at that moment with them is also really interesting, and making an experience out of it. So each and every festival is a bonding experience with all the people around. So that's from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Cheryl. And just one point I would like to add. I think so. Since I think so late October or maybe starting October, I think so October, November, December, it's all festival. So there's so many festivals. I think so. People are just going to enjoy all over. It's going to be an interesting 3 months. I think so. This last 3 months is quite interesting for all of us to enjoy the festivals.
Also, one thing which I'd like to add, I don't like about festivals is sweets, which makes us fat. That's it.
Thank you for that honest opinion, Toastmaster Cheryl. The next speaker is Toastmaster Utkarsh. Are you there?
Yes, Toastmaster Shamil.
Let's spin the wheel for you. So your topic is day or night, Toastmaster Utkarsh. Day or night, over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shaman. I think a very interesting topic. You have giving us very contrasting topics, day and night, pink and blue. So I also feel like both are part of our lives. Day or night, both are the essential parts of each and every's journey. Whatever journey that we take, there's always a night and there's always a day. And the day is always followed by night. So there's nothing to choose whether there's a day or night. Both are very much part of our lives. From my experience, the last 2 years, the last 3 years I've been studying for my chartered accountancy exams, and I feel like it was night because I was failing. I had multiple attempts, but when I cleared, it was day for me. So right now, if I can say, they have been so I feel like day and night is both parts of the same coin. And whenever we feel that we are in the night, we will always have to look, there's always a day that will be followed, and there's always light at the end of the tunnel. And just there's always struggle, and if there's not a struggle, then you wouldn't also feel the victory as well. So and we have to take, and the day and night, I feel like, is much more you'll be able to feel the day and night when you have a very positive attitude towards life. And if you have that positive attitude, you will be able to realize, okay, that it is night for me right now. And I feel like also night is the time that we are learning the most. I felt like I learned the most when I was failing, and when I succeeded, although it felt very good. But the only thing I feel like we learn is when we are at night, and all the parties also done at night. Day parties are not that fun, so I feel like night also has a certain importance to it. Night gives us it has a very cooling presence, and both are very important. I feel like if you would, as Abu also said, if we don't know if we don't feel the sadness, then we never feel how happy we would be. So the same contrast, if we see life, there's always contrast. There's day, night, happy or sad. And contrast is, I feel like, is the essential truth that we need to understand for all of our lives. and contrast is there in every truth of life. I feel like there's a contrast, and we don't need to choose between both of them, but to understand there's a contrast in every aspect of life and in every truth of life. Thank you. Back to you, Toastmaster Shaman.
Thank you, Toastmaster Utkarsh. Everybody seems like pro at this. It doesn't seem like an impromptu section. Yes, it almost seems like a day or night, like darkness or um, um, darkness, and then you see the light. I think so. It's almost like having that balance of yin and yang. So very interesting POV on that. So the next speaker is Toastmaster Aditya. Are you there?
Yeah.
Let me share my screen. Let me spin the wheel for you. So your topic is birthday, Toastmaster Aditya. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Cheryl. So a few weeks ago, I did celebrate my birthday, and it was just 2 days after the Toastmaster International's birthday. And the interesting thing about my birthday is that when I was in Amity, my birthday coincided with the founder of Amity's birthday. And I remember when I was in my second year or in 2007, what used to happen on the birthday was that we used to have Sangatan, or in some terms, kind of a sports day, where different, let's say, you had the English department, you had the engineering department, and we were supposed to do a march past all the vice chancellors and everyone, and then I didn't know about that until our director told me that your birthday was coinciding with the founder of Amity. I thought, okay, fine, maybe he'll invite me to his house, because it rarely happens that your birthday coincides with the founder of an institution. But as long as I was there, and everyone remembers March past is the last thing you want to do in your school or college, and especially in college, where the practice used to begin 2 weeks before, and former generals used to come and with a stick in their hand used to make sure that the 2.5 hours of march past has to be perfect. You cannot make a mistake, because all the top people of the university are watching. And that's how my 20th birthday went. When I was sitting on the ground, it was one of those birthdays where you cannot go anywhere, cannot do anything. I was in my college. The only thing that I had was, I remember I rushed the canteen, quickly had a bottle of Coke, as Abu said, hot or cold. So we can always, in the month of October, cold drink doesn't work, but it works. So yes, this was the thing you can remember is my birthday. It coincides with Amity's birthday. But overall, yes, 2 weeks ago I was in another city, and the only thing I remember from that birthday is that my birthday coincided with the India-Pakistan match, and we know what happened. So that's all I remember over the past 15 days about my birthday, and something that happened 15 years ago. Back to the table topic, Master.
Thank you, Toastmaster Aditya. I think so. A lot of you have spoken for more than a minute. It's really interesting to see. Thank you for that.
Toastmaster Shaman, we are out of time actually. Sorry.
Can I take the last speaker? Maybe just one?
Yeah, Shaman, you can take last one.
Okay. Okay. Mayank, are you there?
It's Varsha.
Oh, okay.
Yes, for the list.
Varsha, are you there?
Yeah, hello.
Hi. Let's spin the wheel for you. I don't have much time. Just dumping into. I think so. This is done. I'll just remove this. Sorry, I'll spin the wheel again for you. Interesting. So your topic is online and offline. Toastmaster Varsha, over to you. Online or offline?
Hello, everybody. This topic, I think all of us can relate to because our lives have sort of shifted. We used to live like completely different lives offline, but over the past 2 years, it's just too much screen time, to be honest. And I think last year I got my eyes checked and my number has, like, let's say, degraded. So I think ophthalmologists and eye doctors are really earning at this time because screens are so prevalent. We are so hooked to our screens. And I wonder how it will be once things start going offline again. Recently, we have spoken about in the club about shifting to offline meetings. I remember, I think I've attended like 2 offline meetings, and the experience was so different offline than online. I was sort of glad because I have glossophobia, as Nimit mentioned earlier. And when I found out that things would be shifted online, I was sort of relieved because thinking about standing in front of people and speaking rather than the thing that we have gotten used to, the screen over the last 2 years, and sitting here and speaking is day and night. It's completely different. So I was sort of relieved that if I've started speaking initially, I would be easing into the whole speech, talking in front of people through online and move towards offline later. So I'm sort of happy to have this cushion right now, but as everybody has already said, we are sort of getting sick of online meetings, getting sick of like staring at screens, sitting in front of screens. It's not a natural thing to happen, and to be in front of screen all the time is getting annoying. And I sometimes get so annoyed that I want to like throw away my devices, literally bang them to the wall. So I'm happy that things would be shifting offline soon. That's all. Over to you, Shaman.
Thank you, Toastmaster Varsha, and thank you everyone for participating and giving us such interesting speeches and point of views on just simple words and those contrasting words, as Toastmaster Utkarsh said. Really enjoyed this session. With much further ado, I'll just give the stage to the TMOD of the day and not waste enough more time. Oh, there's a polling also.
Yes, that was the session. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yes, everyone, please do the voting. I believe the polling is already pulled up basis whosoever was qualified. So please go ahead and cast your vote. And meanwhile, as you do that, before transitioning into the most productive portion of the meeting, that is evaluations. Before that, let me just put one more thought. Many of you might be thinking, okay, so what is the impact on the non-binaries, or how is it impacting them? So let me just put some elements of what they face on a day-to-day basis for you. And then you can gauge how difficult life is for non-binaries first. A vast majority of the non-binaries actually cannot complete their schooling. They leave school halfway because they are compelled by their circumstances to not continue, and they have to leave it halfway. Another majority of non-binaries do not get support from their parents and families. And in that case, wherein they don't have support from parents and families, they're left alone. And many a times they have to battle this throughout on their own. When it comes to jobs and opportunities, unfortunately, a lot of them don't even get an opportunity to apply for good jobs. They are restricted because of our stereotypical thinking. And many a times, even if they've got immense talent, they cannot reach their potential. And that is why it is important that we accept them with their right pronouns. And With that, as we continue ahead, I will now hand it over to the general evaluator for today's meeting to walk us through all the evaluations, and let's just ingest what is there and learn from the evaluations. Over to you, Toastmaster Aditya.
Thank you, Toastmaster Samir. So let's continue with the final section of this meeting. That's the evaluation section. And after two fun sessions, especially the fun session between where at least 10 members got a chance to speak on such very topic, it's time to get a little serious and see how our speakers and overall how the meeting went. So let's start with the speech evaluators. The first speaker was Toastmaster Pandi, and his evaluator will be Toastmaster Utkarsh. Let's give the stage to Toastmaster Utkarsh.
Thank you, Toastmaster Aditya. Now, amazing speech by Toastmaster IC Pandi. His speech title was Power of Trust. What a wonderful topic. He chose the topic very well. Everybody could relate to that topic, and a great speech. The thing that he excelled at, I would like to start on that he was on time. He was bang on time. He was very much clear about his topic. The trust, he had done his wonderful research on that. He was very well thorough. And the speaker had great examples. The speaker gave experience, his personal life experiences that he gave, which gave a lot of depth into the speech. He was very confident. The speaker was very fluent and he had a lot of vigor. He didn't use any of the filler sounds like and he was very bang on time. Even I have to take some tips from him on that. He was very much audience aware. He asked questions from the audience, and the audience was on toes. What would he speak next? So he had great questions to ask from the audience. Everybody, he had a lot of interest. He created a lot of interest into the topic, and it was a very well researched. He also gave great phrases like plant trees today or 20 years back, which is the best time. So today is the best time. And he started with a very good phrase as well. So great effort on the phrases. Now, something that he can work upon. So while I was doing my role as an evaluator, I felt like how I can add value to the speech. So I'm not a judge, or I'm not an authority on the best speaker, how to be the best leader or be the best speaker, but it is just my opinion and just my views as to how he can improve upon himself. And so I would like the speaker to take this so that he can consider for his future projects. He can add a little bit of vocal variety, and he could make the speech much more impactful. So a suggestion would be that use silence, use the power of silence, take some pauses so that he can stress upon some subjects, some points that he need to highlight, and he can use that power of silence in order to actually show the key points that he need to address. He can also have an open body language and use some gestures. He can use his hands and move around a little bit to actually have an body language, and and also smile a little bit on some topics, which would actually help it and make the speech a little bit structured. Overall, he did an amazing job. It was a second speech, and it didn't feel like it was a second speech. He was very much confident, and he did his research very well. All the best for his future endeavors. Back to you, Toastmaster Aditya.
Thank you, Toastmaster Utkarsh. Our second speaker was Toastmaster Abu, who started a new path and gave an icebreaker. So the speaker will be evaluated by Toastmaster Arushi. Over to Toastmaster Arushi.
Now, what was the best part about bedtime? Bedtime stories, right? And now you all must remember the dancing Cadbury girl or that little boy who wanted to eat jalebi from the Dhara ad? Why do we all remember them? That's the art of storytelling. And this is what exactly the speaker aced today. He took us on a journey from his childhood when he entered the Maggie Quiz contest, going further on to his prize of getting unlimited food for 3 days, and then coming to Delhi and talking about the people and its quirks, to then also talking about his future. Now, the way he weaved the entire story added impact, and we all were able to relate to the story at some point or the other. What Toastmaster Abu also managed to do was motivate all of us. Can you imagine this power-packed performer who's full of enthusiasm, motivation? Just by talking to him, you can get his energy and motivation. Can you believe that 15 years ago, he was underconfident? Wow. If this man can grow from an underconfident man to what he is today, can we all not do that? Absolutely. Now, I just felt like when he was weaving us through the story, if he could structure it that way, that calling it his childhood, then moving on to his adulthood when he'd come to Delhi, and then also talking about his future when he told us that he would be, wanting to go to the gym at 60 or 65, this structure and putting those stories in that compartments would have made it easier for the people to understand much better. So that's my first recommendation to Toastmaster Abu. Second, he started a new pathway today, which was engaging humor. Even though his speech objective says that he can use any form of speech, motivational or humor, I somehow, after reading his pathway, expected more doses of humor in his speech. So that would be my second recommendation. Third was when you're speaking, you used a background and that sort of limited and we couldn't see some of your hand gestures. So that would be my recommendation number 3. To summarize, wow, what a storytelling, Toastmaster Abu. Thank you for motivating all of us, not today, but all the time. If you could just keep in mind to compartmentalize your story to give it better structure, put more doses of humor, and also remove your background from next time you're speaking, that would just add so much value to your speech. That's all from my end today. Back to your general evaluator, Toastmaster Aditya.
Thank you, Toastmaster Arushi. Now, Timer, Toastmaster Cheryl, are both the speech evaluators qualified? Can you vote?
Yes, we should take the
Let's
poll.
vote for Toastmaster Arushi, between Toastmaster Arushi and Toastmaster Utkarsh. Do we have how many votes remaining, Toastmaster Amit?
Yeah, we are good now. Number of votes.
Okay. So let's move on to our supplementary evaluators who evaluated the entire meeting in terms of timing the meeting, R counter, grammarian, and listener. So let's call a debutant role player in Toastmaster Bharat, and let's see how attentive the members and guests were in the meeting. So over to Toastmaster Bharat to ask some interesting questions. Let's see who wins this round of KBC.
Thank you so much, General Evaluator Aditya. I prepared a few questions for everyone to answer. So I'll start with asking. I'll start with the question about our Toastmaster IC Pandey, where he went to, and where did he took a bus from. So yeah, Abu, I think you were the first one.
It's Coimbatore. That was the place, and he was from Mridula or Madurai. Madurai.
Yeah, exactly. Kudos to you.
Bharat, it's Zakir Nagar biryani is Zomato.
Sorry?
For the right answer, biryani, Zakir Nagar Zomato.
Okay, I will book it. I will order it. Don't worry.
Okay, got it.
Thanks.
And moving on to my second question, I think every one of you, you know, who are already the member of Toastmasters, South Delhi Toastmasters, they know Abu for quite some time. But today only I got to know the name, or know how to refer to him first of all, and the meaning of his name. So he did, mention about what Shabad means. Shadab means. So can anyone tell? Yeah, Aditya, please go ahead.
That means someone who is serene, cool, and always active.
That's close, not exactly right. Arushi, yeah, sure.
Optimistic.
Yeah.
Go on.
Sorry, Arushi.
Siddharth was answering. I was encouraging him to go on.
Okay,
Yeah,
I think it was optimistic.
Yeah.
Being optimistic.
Yeah, exactly.
Optimistic, evergreen, and happy.
Yeah.
His exact words were extremely optimistic and happy. And I can see I have limited time with me. So moving on to my second last question. Toastmaster of the day, Sami, he asked us to propagate on some idea. So did any one of you got to hear the idea what he was trying to propagate? Anyone other than Abu? Yeah, sure, Amit.
Neutral washroom.
Yeah, exactly. So he was trying to, trying to tell us and motivate us in order to propagate the idea of gender neutral washrooms. And moving on to my last question, Toastmaster Jatin talked about two series in his speech. So anyone, no, other than Abu or I remember Aditya was able to. Yeah, Varsha, sure, go ahead.
It's always sunny in Philadelphia and Boston Beacon.
Yeah, that's the exact series he talked about. Kudos to everyone. I can clearly see everyone was attentive while listening to during this meeting. That's all from my side. Back to you, General Evaluator Aditya.
Thank you, Toastmaster Bharat. Now let's move on to our second supplementary evaluator, who will see how our grammatical skills were and how many of us use the word of the day, serene, and the idiom of the day, once in a blue moon. So let's see how our grammatical skills went and our vocabulary skills went. Let's give the stage to our grammarian and language evaluator, Toastmaster Rajiv.
Hello, good evening. Today, most of the people was on the positive side. There were very few people who erred on the negative side. First, let us start with the first speaker of the day. Second speaker, Abu. He said cherry on the cake. He said good use word, cherry on the cake, hit the gym. Then Jatin said, bottom of my heart, obscure, sociopathic. Someone said, wonderment, then mesmerizing, bonding experience, light and end of tunnel, claustrophobia. The Toastmaster of the day had excellent choice of words. Fall in the bucket, tickle in the bones, stereotypical, thinking, ingest. The bad use of words were, someone said depth into speech. It should be depth in the speech. Someone said live it with the fullest life, with the fullest. It should be lived to the fullest. Making a bond should be seen as developing a bond. Someone said supposed to do. It should be So supposed to do a march past. It should be carry out a march past, not to do a march past. My birthday went. It should be birthday was celebrated. The word of the day was said by Aditya, and the idiom of the day also was said by Aditya. That's all. That is my report for the meeting as a grammarian. Good evening. Good night.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rajiv. Let's move on to our third supplementary evaluator, who also started with a bang last week with the role of the listener. And this week, this supplementary evaluator will be essaying the role of the arc counter. So let's see how our R's and ums, how many of them were they reduced, were they more? Let's listen to the report of Toastmaster Varsha.
Hello, everybody. As promised, I'm back. So starting with our president, TM Nimit, he said his favorite crutch word is right. So he uses it, like he used it 4 times. But other than that, he was completely flawless. Our TMOD today, TM SAMIR, his was exceptionally flawless. The way he delivered was extremely serene. So hence a round of applause to him. Then we move on to the to Aditya. His favorite crutch words were and the. He used and he is somebody who is prone to taking long pauses. Moving on to timer, Cheryl. She used 16 plus filler sounds, ahs and ums. Her favorite crutch words are like it's like, and. She uses and also a lot. Next is our listener Bharat. He used 10 plus filler sounds. Other than that, everything else was flawless. Moving on to Grammarian Rajiv. No objections at all. His was flawless as well. Moving on to Joke Master Megha. She was as well, like she didn't break the flow. Moving on to Evaluator Utkarsh. Utkarsh used the filler sound ER 8 times. He uses his favorite crutch words are like so I feel like, and he also uses and a lot. I'm sorry to say a lot, I don't mean it. Then we move on to our first speaker of the day, IC Pandi. He doesn't use any filler words as pointed out by Utkarsh. His favorite crutch word was so, and there is a repetition that he does sometimes, like he, I was, my. Moving on to Arushi, our second evaluator. She used the 15 times, and her favorite crutch word is now. She used that 8 times. Then we have our speaker number 2, Abu Shadab. He doesn't use any filler sounds either, but his favorite crutch word is and. He used that 11 plus times. Then we have our table topic master, Charmaine. She was one of the people who spoke for the longest. So she used filler sounds 33 times. Her favorite crutch words are like, I think so, seems like, and Then we have Jatin, who was our first speaker for the table topic. He used filler sound 11 times. He also repeated the phrase, they sit there like thrice. Then we have Ashish. TM Ashish, he used filler sounds thrice. Crutch words like and I. He also took long pauses. Some of his pauses were very well timed. Some of them were longer than necessary. Then we have our last TM Amit. He was overall flawless, and his favorite crutch word is so. That is all for my report. Thank you, everybody. Over to G.
Thank you, Toastmaster Varsha. Now we have our final supplementary evaluator, the timer, who has kept a time of so many speakers and has to be on the button and make sure that nothing is missed out. So let's take a look at the timers report, and at the same time also let us know if all the supplementary evaluators, including the timer, will be qualified. Over to the timer.
Thank you, Toastmaster Aditya. So starting from the very start of the meeting, Toastmaster Amit, the SSR, started the meeting with 2 minutes 46 seconds. The TMOD, Toastmaster Samir, took 3 minutes 30 seconds for the intro. Then coming to the auxiliary role players for the introduction section. So me as a timer, I took 1 minute 20 seconds. Toastmaster Varsha took 1 minute 56 seconds. Toastmaster Rajiv took 52 seconds. Toastmaster Bharat, the listener, took 30 seconds. The joke master, Toastmaster Megha, took 1 minute 20 seconds. Then coming to the prepared speech section, Toastmaster Pandi took 7 minutes 41 seconds. Then Toastmaster Abbu, the second speaker, took 7 minutes 20 seconds. Coming on to the table topic section. So individually, everybody, so starting from Toastmaster Jatin, Jatin took 1 minute 50 seconds. Toastmaster Ashish took 1 minute 22 seconds. Toastmaster Abbu took 2 minutes 30 seconds. Toastmaster Arushi took 2 minutes 10 seconds. Toastmaster Pandi took 1 minute 40 seconds. Toastmaster Amit took 1 minute 26 seconds. Toastmaster Utkarsh took 2 minutes 6 seconds. Then Toastmaster Aditya took 2 minutes 28 seconds. Then the last speaker was Toastmaster Varsha, took 2 minutes 19 seconds. Then coming on to the evaluation section, Toastmaster Utkarsh took 3 minutes 19 seconds. Toastmaster Arushi took 3 minutes 32 seconds. Then the last section is the auxiliary role players for the repose. Toastmaster Bharat took 3 minutes 22 seconds. Toastmaster Rajiv, the grammarian, took 2 minutes 12 seconds. Then Toastmaster Varsha took 3 minutes 52 seconds. Thank you. That's from my end. Toastmaster Aditya, over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Cheryl. So are all the supplementary evaluators qualified?
So Toastmaster Rajiv is only qualified right now.
So all the other supplementary evaluators are disqualified?
I couldn't time mine because
Okay,
I'm just speaking. Yeah.
So just let me know about the R counter and the listener.
Let's take the poll because there are very less people today.
It's okay. So can we have the voting tech? Yeah, please vote. Including joke master, yes. Amit, do we have maximum votes?
Yeah, we are good now.
Varsha, everyone is being voted. Don't worry. Okay, so it's time for my report. I'll be quick and serene. Let's start with the theme of the meeting. What are your pronouns? The moment this theme was publicized over the past couple of days, it got everyone thinking, what will the TMOD talk about? What will be his main idea? What is the message the TMOD is going to give? And the TMOD was right on the money by talking about stereotypical gender stereotype topics which we are usually uncomfortable with, but the way the speaker gave examples and was calm and composed, and just the way he organized the entire TMOD theme was quite interesting. And if you look at the images he used in the background, even if the TMOD was not speaking, as we all know, images often can give us the message. The message was loud and clear. The images used and the idea that the TMOD tried to propagate was loud and clear, and it got the 17, 18 odd people in the room thinking. And I'm sure once they leave the meeting, a few thoughts would have changed and things would be different. That was very creative and very interestingly done, and handled a topic which is often sensitive in a manner which is respectful to all people involved. Let's move on to the table topic section. We had a long table topic session. It doesn't happen often. It happens once in a blue moon. So everyone got involved, and speakers, evaluators, anchors, everyone put their toe in the water, and the topics were intriguing, which got everyone thinking for about a couple of seconds. And as the table topic master said, everyone was able to come up with different ideas. You could have a million ideas on the same topics, whether it's your favorite TV series, hot or cold, day or night. It could mean anything. The interpretations were such that you cannot have to unlimited interpretations, and a good job done by the table topic master to accommodate as many speakers as possible and allow the guests to be comfortable. As for a couple of guests who were debuting as guests, it's their first ever speaking opportunity in such an environment. So it was good to see everyone, and it was the best of both worlds. So an excellent job, interesting topics, simple, but it got us thinking. So an excellent job done by the table topic master. Moving on, let's take a look at the evaluation section. First, the speech evaluation section. Now, evaluation is also like a speech, which means when you give an evaluation, you're supposed to have a structure. There is a transition moving on from commendation, recommendation, and then the summary. For those who are new, especially new members who will take up evaluation as they go further into the journey of Toastmasters, we usually follow a sandwich approach, or there's a four-pronged approach. Commendation, where you commend the speaker for all the efforts done. Recommendation, what can the speaker improve, what are the suggestions by the evaluator. Once again, commendation, and then summarizing it. To summarize this, just take a couple of seconds to summarize. So I think both the evaluators did an excellent job, especially Toastmaster Utkarsh, new into his journey, and just his second evaluation, I suppose. So that takes a lot of effort. The evaluation were clear and focused on analyzing the speech. The recommendations were positive, specific, and helpful. The technique of the speech evaluator was sensitive and at the same time motivational. One of the evaluators summarized the evaluation. The other one, that is Toastmaster Utkarsh, who is new in his journey, perhaps didn't summarize, but that's something we can learn. So overall, the only recommendation is that have a transition as you move. So how do you do it? You can do it in a subtle manner. So what can the speaker work on? After all, such a great effort, what can the speaker work on? Don't say recommendation overtly, say it in a manner which is there, but try avoiding using the word recommendation overtly. Make it a covert way so that the speaker feels that yes, today I have received some evaluation. And then to summarize, the speaker gave us examples. The speaker can work on on voice modulation, or standing and delivering, and other such things. Let's move on to the supplementary evaluations. The first one was the listener Toastmaster Bharat making his debut in this role, or debut overall. And I think the questions were specific and they were excellent questions. It got us thinking. We knew what the questions were, yet we didn't know what the answers would be. some of us erred in the answers, and that shows that sometimes listening is taken as a skill which is taken as a guaranteed skill. And today, or anytime the listener comes on the stage, very few people are able to give the exact words, and that's very important. So that tests our listening skills every time. So we should continue this role, and kudos to the listener. Moving on, the grammarian, someone who has been here, done that, seen 15 years of so many grammarians, and idioms and the phrases used, and the word of the day was interesting, though I think we may have used the word once in a blue moon before, so we can do a research if such an idiom has been used before, though it's fine to use it again, but still, if we have to reiterate, we can say that it was used before so that members are aware. The only recommendation is that the word of the day and the idiom of the day was not promoted before, either in a textual form or in the poster form. And the grammarian did not reiterate that we have to use a thumbs up every time a speaker uses either of these two phrases. So that's the only recommendation. And moving on quickly, the two remaining supplementary evaluators, Toastmaster Varsha, carried on the role with Elan. The R counter report was detailed and specific. You can give tips on how to improve, since we had so many R's and ums, and the timer to evaluate, to time 3 anchors, 2 speakers, 10 table topic speakers, 2 speech evaluators, 4 supplementary evaluators. The timer crossed the T's and dotted the I with a detailed report, and that's it from me. Over to the TMOD.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Aditya, for perhaps that extensive and detailed report which we all wait for, and that indeed was what we wanted from. Thank you so much. Well, before I end this session, or maybe I wrap up the meeting, we've learned some of the tips that we can use with our non-binary friends. Everyone that you see on the screen is actually a non-binary. So that means they relate to either of the LGBT or Q community. But just looking at them, many a times it may not be easy for you to identify what gender they belong to, or they may not even belong to one of the genders, as we've been talking. So why is it important for us to understand the impact that we can bring? So there was this survey done with 2 groups of non-binaries. One group got some help from families and friends and support. The second group did not receive that help. And when they observed both the groups, they realized that the group which received or which did not receive the support had 9 times more tendency of committing suicide. They had 6 times more tendency of being in chronic depression and 3 times more likely to consume illegal drugs. So just imagine, by just being someone there to support and help them and listen to them, we could have taken so many of our friends out of this arduous journey. And before I leave you today, I'll leave you with one of my favorite quotes, and that is, if you do what you've always done, you will be where you've always been. And this non-binary group friend of ours is looking at us to extend our hands and bring them into the mainstream society. And I hope everyone today will do their fair bit of share to help them come along with us in this journey. Thank you so much. With that, I will now hand it over to the presiding officer, the Toastmaster Nimit.
Thank you, Toastmaster Samir. What an impeccable performance by you, and what a great meeting we have had, guys. I mean, it is with delight that I say that we have such great talent on this platform. Like, in the interest of time, let us initiate the poll for the best anchor. So, Toastmaster Amit, let's make it quick, everyone. Right. So, Toastmaster Amit, while you prepare your awards and certificates, I'll make a few announcements, but let me know when you are done. All right, everyone. So tomorrow we have our evaluation and table topics contest at the area level, and winners from multiple clubs will be competing. You all know who is going from our side. Toastmaster Abu Shadab and Toastmaster Arushi Kapoor will be representing our club for both of these contests. Let us all please unmute, let us give them a big round of applause and wish them all the very best, because I know they will come winners. So Toastmaster Abu and Toastmaster Arushi, wish you all the very best. Hope you guys, I know you guys will rock. Give it your best, and we are proud of you both. Great. Having said that, there's another announcement, which is in the last week of November, the club will be having its EC elections, which means that the club will be choosing the next lot of candidates, people who will be representing our club as leaders. So my only suggestion and my urge to each one of you is, please consider this. Please consider this as a proposal to further enhance your skills. If you put in your vote, if you stand up for elections, it will really be helpful to you. Toastmaster Abu Shadab is also the chief election officer for this particular campaign, if I may say, and he is there. Monday onwards, he will initiate his job, and any one of you, any questions, please connect with Toastmaster Abu. We want everybody to be a part of club's executive committee and contribute towards the club's making, right? So having said that, Toastmaster Amit, do let me know as and when it's done. I wanted to take feedback from one of the guests as to what was your take on. Okay, well, let's just hold on this. Meanwhile, I'll take a feedback from one of the guests. If we have any guest who is still on this platform, Siddharth, I am just reading.
Jatin is there.
Jatin, if you'd want to maybe say a few words, this is for our, for the benefit of our club, as well as we may understand what was your expectation and if we met it or not. If you could...
Just to interrupt you, Jatin's actually a Toastmaster now. We will be introducing him to the club on Monday.
So he's a member of the club. Perfect, perfect.
He is.
So, never mind, Jatin. It's anyways good to have a feedback. So maybe not as a guest, but maybe as a member and somebody who's attending the meeting for the very first time.
Right.
What would you want to share?
I want to say that I have attended Toastmaster meetings at over 4 clubs now. In fact, back in B school, we tried to start our own Toastmasters club as well. So I'm fairly well acquainted with how the activities happen. And I, compared to the other club, I find this, so I've realized that every club, they have their own kind of forte. For instance, I attended a couple of meetings at Central Delhi Toastmasters, and they were all students, and they were excellent speakers. And then I attended with Noida one Toastmasters, plus one Toast. I don't exactly remember the name, but so there the sessions are very interactive. But I think it's mostly because. But in terms of my online experience, this is the only club that I've attended the meetings. And I have thoroughly enjoyed my experience here. And every time I come here, I try to participate. I do my table topics. And that Wheel of Fortune thing, I really like that part. Besides that, so while I was speaking, the timer cards were coming on the screen. Maybe that could be avoided, because while I'm looking at the audience, suddenly I see a yellow card. It is a little distracting. Aside of that, I really like the energy of this club, and the spirit to improve is clearly visible, and that is the kind of group I would like to be a part of. So I'm looking forward to be a Toastmaster.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Jatin, for your feedback. I'm sure you will have a great journey. And time and again, as and when you have feedback, please feel free to share it to the club. And we hope you have an enriching experience.
So actually, I also want to add something.
Please. Yeah, please.
So hello guys. My name is Siddharth Samadar. This is my first time joining the Toastmasters. Actually, I wanted to see as to how everything goes about. So when I first joined, I thought everything was really complex, because there was our counter. I didn't know what everything was going on. So now after the session is getting over, I kind of get the idea as to how things operate. And I think it was a really wonderful experience, especially the table topic one. I didn't get my chance, but it's completely fine. But I think the table topic thing was a really good thing. The impromptu way to speak something on any topic is something that's really powerful. To speak on something on the spot rather than being prepared on it is a ability I think not everyone has. It takes time to develop. So I think that table topic feature is a really good thing. And on top of that, I think the community has a really good energy. They want to improve, as Jatin said. So I feel the positive vibes, and I would like to go with you guys in future.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Siddharth. Great to hear your feedback. And I
Yeah.
can say this for sure that I personally face this challenge as well, which I call as the challenge of digital media. Because of being on Zoom and other platforms for so long, I can assure this that in the time to come, as and when we shift to a physical setup, the
Yeah.
energy of and the vibe of this club is unmatchable. And that I can personally assure you and guarantee. It's
Okay. Yeah.
well, it's a different experience. When
Yeah,
you
yeah.
are in a physical setup as opposed to
Yeah.
being in a virtual. So
Yeah.
that's going to happen also very soon. The
Yeah.
talks have been initiated, and we are planning that we shift to a physical setup, as soon as possible.
Yeah.
So once that happens, I'm sure the level of experience will further be going up high only. So
Thank
thank you so much for that lovely feedback. Yeah, Toastmaster Amit, let's have the awards as well. Every minute we go beyond 8:30, I'm losing one participant. So all right, best auxiliary role player, Toastmaster Bharat. Again, one of his, I think, second appearance today in our club, and he's got an award. So that's great job, Toastmaster Bharat. Best speech evaluator, it goes to Toastmaster Arushi, and I'm sure it will further motivate you in your performance tomorrow at the contest. Best table topic speaker also goes to Toastmaster Arushi. And again, good luck for tomorrow since you have both these contests up. Best speaker, again, my friend Toastmaster Abu, second representative from our club for the contest. And best anchor, without any doubt, goes to Toastmaster SAMIR Rawat. I must say that he did, his, for anybody who's I must say a budding speaker, an aspiring orator, or somebody who dreams of being a leader. If you want to look at a performance, you should look at Toastmaster SAMIR Rawat's performance today. And if you want to understand how to be an anchor, how to be a TMOD, how to host a show, you should look at Toastmaster SAMIR Rawat. He chose, I should say a difficult topic, but the way he expressed it without offending anyone, without hurting anyone, and still expressing the right point, that is commendable. And I don't know if you noticed, but he had a smile when he introduced every speaker. And when you call upon somebody to speak, that person needs to feel special because you're inviting somebody to speak. And Toastmaster SAMIR had a beaming smile when he invited anyone on stage. He was introducing everyone with his own personalized introductions, which again is a part of how you host people. It might be you might be hosting a party at your house, at your workplace, but this is how you host. He was very professional in his attire, in the way he spoke, in the words he uttered. And for everyone, for me, if anyone has to host anything, look at this performance. So Toastmaster SAMIR, great job. I have a lot of great performances. Right from the table topic speaker, if I say Toastmaster, we had guests Ashish, Arushi, Amit, Pandi, Utkarsh, Aditya, Varsha, all of them. They were all of them spoke for more than a minute and a half, which is great, by the way, for a table topic segment. Everybody spoke great and everybody had a lot of content to share. So I was so happy. I was also very delighted when I saw Toastmaster Abu. He keeps motivating and appreciating people on chat. If you have noticed, this is a very rare talent. People are generally very jealous of others' performance. Very few people will actually encourage you and appreciate you. And that is mark of Toastmaster Abu, why he's so well appreciated by the crowd of SDTM and everybody else. So great job, Toastmaster Abu. Toastmaster Varsha and Toastmaster Bharat, both of them were giving the performance for the second time, I believe, in this club, and both of them were confident. it did not look like they are newcomers into public speaking, or they are even, they were at ease, comfortable with the audience. So I only wish you good luck in this club. I hope you continue being regular, being a regular part of the meeting, and have a great time. On that, let's call it a day. Thank you so much, everyone, for being part of today's meeting. We are the last. I see 13 people, and we are the last survivors. So having said that, if anybody could take a quick selfie, that is something which is customary, a customary habit. We just lost one more. We are 12. Before we lose one more, Amit, can you take a quick digital selfie?
By pose, Nimit.
Yeah. All right. I'm sorry. Let's ask a one of the new members, Toastmaster Varsha, if you'd want to. So you can make any pose, and everybody else will. Okay. All right. Everybody has to follow. Are those horns or are those good? Okay. All right. They go here. Siddharth, they go here. All right. Somebody's got to click on the keyboard. Done. Perfect. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for